Good morning, world of readers! I am Book Dragon Erin, and I would like to welcome you all back to my booktube channel. In today's video, I will be telling you a little bit about my favorite authors currently, and my favorite books of theirs. I am very much book obsessed, so this video is a little hard to contemplate, but I think I have it covered. Let's jump right into the video and get into the book talk. I've chosen 3 current favorite authors. One of them is Zoe Blake. She is a dark romance author. The other is Darcy Coates. She is a horror fiction author. She is basically the Australian equivalent of Stephen King, and I love her work. I have never once been disappointed by anything she writes. And then my third favorite author right now is Katee Robert. She wrote my favorite twisted Disney retelling series of all time, the Wicked Villains series, where the anti-heroes, who were originally the Disney villains, are anti-heroes in this Wicked Villains series, and they are such anti-heroes that the heroines, who were once the Disney princesses, fall for them. My favorite books by my favorite authors include Savage Vow by Zoe Blake. I love this book immensely. This is about Samara, who is a girl born into a Russian mafia family, and she is forced into an arranged marriage with Gregor Ivanov as her future husband. So she runs away with her best friend, and when Gregor catches up to her, her thoughts on him alter because he truly does love her and want no other woman except her. Now, in a perfect world, Gregor Ivanov would be real, and I would be married to him. And I would give him at least 4 babies. Alina and Anya are dream twins who want to enter the world of the modeling industry. Natasha, our business-savvy brainiac. And then little Ivan, who is the male heir to the Ivanov Empire. Before you ask, yes, I have thought up a steamy and sexy as hell fanfiction about me being the female heiress to a mafia empire and set to marry Gregor Ivanov. I am baby crazy, so I want to give as many babies to Gregor Ivanov as possible. Moving on to the next book. We have Craven Manor by Darcy Coates. This is the first Darcy Coates novel that I have ever read. The book has an intriguing plot, great characters, mysterious and mercurial vibes, and just such cool ghost characters, one of whom I kind of fell in love with. Again. And my fictional crush in this book is Lord Bran Myricks. Yes, I have written a fanfiction for this book too. In the fanfiction, my original character, who I still don't quite have a name for, is the main character, Daniel's younger sister. She was traveling the world, but then she got sick, so Daniel takes her in at Craven Manor, and she befriends both Annalise and Bran. A lot happens, but there is a guaranteed happily ever after. I don't write short stories or full-blown novels without a happily ever after for all the characters who most deserve it. And in the fanfiction, the way it ends, my original character becomes a ghost, marries Bran Myricks, and then they have a happily ever after together. So that's quite an interesting story. I'm gonna work out the kinks and then maybe publish it eventually. I just need the inspiration again to continue my Craven Manor fanfiction. Next, we have Small Horrors, also by Darcy Coates. This is an easy-to-read book of 50 short stories with plot twists from the start. This is highly entertaining, mind-blowing, and sometimes a little bit downright scary for some of the novellas. This is actually another book that I highly recommend, especially to the readers who do have ADHD and can only focus on short stories instead of 600-page books. I'm very open about my bipolar disorder. However, I also have ADHD, so it's either I can't read a 600-page book in one go, or I can focus on 7 different books at once. And since I absolutely love Darcy Coates' work, I found her short stories so entertaining because it kept my attention, and every single moment I thought, okay, wait a minute, my mind is wandering. Boom, the story ends, there's a plot twist, moving on, and I'm left with my head spinning because it's so cool. My favorite short story in this entire book was actually the first one, where a man accidentally kills a dog in the middle of the road while driving, and he falls into mourning and then has an inner monologue of how the death of his childhood dog destroyed him, which was the hardest experience in his entire childhood. So then he goes to bury the dog with his conveniently placed gardening supplies in the back of his truck. Now, you would think he's a gardener, or he's a landscaper going to do some work for some sort of property or estate. No, he's already planned to use these tools in the burying of the dead body of his cheating wife, who rests in the trunk too. I have not read a Darcy Coates book that I disliked, and this book was no exception. If you want a horror novel that isn't on darkness par with Stephen King, or if you just want to read a book that's not from your country, check out Darcy Coates' books. You will never be left disappointed. Next, we're going to talk about Katee Robert and her books that I absolutely love. First, we have Desperate Measures. Everyone knows I love a good Aladdin retelling, and everyone knows that I have a bit of an unhealthy obsession with Jafar, so this book goes to the top tier of dark Disney retellings. I also loved how Jafar and Jasmine had so much sexual chemistry and such intense passion, and I love how Katee Robert made CNC content look so freaking hot. CNC content is consensual non-consent, where the submissive says no but agrees to the sexual acts prior. All dark play stops when the safe word is spoken, but if the submissive never says the safe word to the dominant, then the play continues even if they say no. I have never been a fan of sexual assault fantasies, but Katee Robert makes CNC play look so hot that I want to try it for myself under the right circumstances with the right person too. I also think it's cool that Jasmine and Jafar used Raja as their safe word, which was the name of Jasmine's pet tiger in the animated Aladdin movie. My only complaint about this book is when Jasmine was trying to hack onto Jafar's computer. We never found out his password. I would have bet my paycheck that it was Raja, but I never found out. So that is my only complaint. I never found out if Jafar favored the word Raja because of Jasmine, or because Jasmine favored the word Raja because of Jafar. I'm not really sure about that connection, but I would have loved to see if it was really the password to Jafar's computer. Oh, my only other complaint is that I was not the character who was hooking up with Jafar. Gods know I would definitely hook up with him if he were real. I would be his fury, his protective little companion, and his formidable little desert asp with a pretty face and a heart of BDSM kinkiness. Moving on to the final book on this list, we have Learn My Lesson, also by Katee Robert. This is the second book in the Wicked Villains series. This was actually the first book by Katee Robert that I have ever read, and it was so dark and erotic, kinky, smutty, and just everything I love about an MMF romance between Hades, Hercules, and Meg in a dark and twisted Disney retelling. Hercules and Hades are not blood related, so incest is not a trope in this book. With the plot twist of Hercules damning himself to Hades' control, he falls for Meg, then he sees Hades, and then he immediately falls in love with Hades too. And then Meg is Hades' lover. She is the head of his Furies, and she can't actually stop her attraction from Hercules to happen as well. Oh, and this book also had me laughing so hard. I kept imagining Hercules, Meg, and Hades as the Disney characters, so when I got to the sex scenes between the three of them, I laughed until my sides hurt, because here I imagine this flaming-haired, blue-skinned demon hooking up with a skinny, pink-dressed girl with a Greek god descendant. It was just so funny. Even though this book received mixed reviews, readers talk about too much kink or too many sex scenes, but I say there is no such thing as too much smut as long as it's different when it comes to books. There can be too much trio action, there can be too much BDSM, but if it's all different in a book, there is a certain flair to it for me. each time that I read the book. So with this book, yes, there was a lot of trio action, but it was switched up a lot, so I really did enjoy that aspect of it. But I can also understand where some people might be bored by it or a little weirded out by it. Anyway, that is pretty much it for today with discussing my favorite books of all time right now. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my booktube channel to get more videos like this, turn on that notification button to be notified when I upload brand new videos every single Sunday. Keep on reading and have a great day, everyone.